This is a special meeting of the Airport Advisory Committee. It is May 13th, 10:30 in the morning. We're meeting in the Ocean Shores Library meeting room. Roll call. Bill Capron.
Present.
Gary Divis.
Present.
Ron DeVore is absent. Stuart Green. And I'm Richard Sayers. All right. Approval of the meeting agenda. I think you guys all got a copy of the agenda. Any complaints?
No, I make a motion to approve it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, agenda is approved. Announcements. I think, Stuart, you had the announcement that you're thinking of handing in your resignation.
Yeah, that'd be the announcement, I guess. This will be my last meeting.
Okay.
Email Nicole about that so that quorum requirements can be adjusted.
Okay. All right, old business. Do you have any old business to discuss? Nope. Okay. New business.
Just the day, Airport Appreciation Day itself. Do we have a date picked out already?
It's usually the Saturday before Labor Day weekend. That's when it's always been.
Well, August 30th would be the Saturday before Labor Day weekend.
All right.
Labor Day's the 7th then.
Something like that.
All right. We'll set that in stone at this point, August 30th. Does that seem like a good day for everyone?
Labor Day is September 1st, so it would be the 23rd would be the
Oh,
Saturday.
I thought Labor Day was the first full weekend. No, it's the first Monday.
Yeah. September 1st.
August 23rd then?
August 23rd.
Okay. Any other new business? All right, let's move on to new charter and name. It came up some weeks ago that our former name, the Airport Development and Operating Committee, implied things that could be confusing, that we had perhaps the power of the purse, that we had influence over more weightier decisions than we really do. So in keeping with a whole city review of names and charters, we decided to rename ourselves to the Airport Advisory Committee and to rewrite our quite outdated charter. So our new name is the Airport Advisory Committee, and a copy of our new charter was included in the minutes. Item number 2. So did everybody get a chance to read through our new charter? It's a lot more simplified than it used to be. Basically, the essence of it is, I'm just going to read this real quick. Our mission, the mission of the airport is to provide a safe, convenient, attractive facility for use by individuals traveling to and from Ocean Shores. Okay, the purpose of the Airport Advisory Committee is to provide leadership and direction to the airport in meeting the requirements of its mission. What that means is we are mostly an advisory committee. Aviation being a reasonably technical endeavor, we are here to provide information to the city when strange acronyms come up, proposals are put forward that to changes to the airport. Do we need them? What is our pilot's opinion of it? So that's mainly our job, is to provide technical advice and opinions to the city. Did I get that right, Scott?
That's absolutely correct. And it's because, I mean, no one at the city other than yourselves has real aviation experience. You just don't, so.
Okay, so the charter was rewritten to basically embody those ideas. We meet at least once per calendar quarter, keep meetings. And yeah, that's about it. Okay. Any, oh, a word here on the minutes, because this was kind of a surprise to me too. This document here from Jurassic Parliament is also a citywide endeavor on the methods by which we now keep our minutes. We don't keep the minutes, but the minutes are, I think Nicole keeps the minutes. But there is a standardized way of keeping the minutes, and it's based on actions. We don't record everything verbatim. We don't record everything that people said. We only record what's on the table and the actions that ensue from it. Okay.
I don't take your minute. The city clerk's office doesn't take any of the advisory board's minutes.
It's just logged in, it's logged in though.
They're supposed to have someone else do their own minute
Mhm.
to be submitted to the city clerk's office to upload.
No, we voted last time to have you take.
To have you, do, yeah. That's why you quit.
Want to go out with a bang, Stuart?
No.
All right, well, I'm not gonna take the minutes as well, because I do all of this, so who's gonna be brave?
Look at me. I'll resign. I'll stick to maintenance. No.
No, basically taking minutes is on each of these, it's already halfway done for you. On the agenda, by each item, you would simply record if any actions came out of it.
Yeah.
That's
No,
all.
you're not recording what
You
people said.
discussed,
Yeah,
the charter, that was it.
yeah, so for item number 2, discuss charter. Discussed and accepted new charter, that's it.
Okay, and then what do we do with these? I'm gonna make scribbles on mine. I'll do it.
Scribble, just bake it down to,
But then I give them to,
bake it down to a single page, give it to you, Nicole?
Yeah.
Okay,
okay,
yeah.
And I can
Nobody
give you
likes
a
reading the
generalized,
minutes, so.
like, a word template, generalized word template too, if you would like.
And do they have to vote to approve the new charter? They have to,
Yeah, I think we have to.
Probably should.
yes, that would be the action. So you would just say, if you vote,
Who made the nomination, who seconded?
I'll make the nomination to approve the new charter.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
there's your min, then there's your minutes. You got it right there.
Discussed, motioned and approved.
Okay. I have curiosity question.
Sure.
General sake. Doesn't the city council approve the charters?
I think you guys have to approve it first.
And we
then
take it
approve
to
that.
council. I think that's what would happen.
And submit it to them and.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Once you approve it here, then we take it to council. And yeah.
Got it.
Okay, I think we're done with item number 2. Next item, FAA summary for airport improvement program and airport infrastructure grant. Now we're talking money. Scott, I believe this is yours.
It is. So this was an item we discussed last time with it related to the FAA's requirement that we do a capital improvement plan for 5 years, and that the old one has expired, so this is 2026 to 2030. And the items of for project planning and funding that we have on this are the installation of the AWAS system. I don't know, you might know more about where we are with the AWAS system than I do.
I've been waiting 18 years for one. When I got on the committee, that's what I said, I want an AWAS.
And the whole process is just aged you.
This is 18 years.
Some success, long time
It's
coming.
not installed yet.
Well, the AWAS, it was supposed to be installed in 25, at least the initial phase.
That's what I thought, right?
Um, hmm. And this came from the FAA.
It did.
And they got, yeah, both of these are in 2026, install AWAS Phase 2 construction. $100,000 and then 220,000. You know, I wish they would say, and this would be the time to get back to the FAA and ask them. There are 3 levels of AWAS, 1, 2, and 3. 3 is the one, AWAS 3 is the one that has the ceiling, cloud ceiling reporting, which around here is what we want,
Mhm.
probably more expensive. I don't know what level of AWAS they plan on installing because they don't say here.
Maybe you and I should sidebar this one and reach out to Agnes
Yeah,
jointly,
yeah.
and, ask.
Yeah, yeah. The AWAS 1 and 2, they're more or less the same. But AWAS 3 has that feature that would be the most valuable one. You know, altimeter settings and wind and stuff, nice to have. But ceiling especially, because it's so changeable around here.
So then let's you and I, meet briefly sometime in the next week or so and craft a letter
Okay.
to the FAA.
Yeah, yeah, and in that letter, we might also say something about the perimeter fence. So I want to ask you guys right now. Yeah, there are 2 items for 27, 2027 and 28. Installing a perimeter fence and a wind cone. Now, a wind cone, yeah, that'd be nice. But a perimeter fence, do we really need a perimeter fence?
That would be a very expensive ask for the size of that airport.
It would be. Yeah,
I thought we had a perimeter fence.
You've got a fence on the front side, but you don't have one on the back side, and that's complicated as well because it's Fish and Wildlife has that property out there. So I don't know if you could
They
even,
need access, there's joint access for the hunters.
exactly. So I don't even know if we could
Is
do
that
it.
what you had in mind for perimeter fence?
yeah. What I was thinking of was on the east side of the runway where you've got that, you know, big swampy area where that airplane went down and the fence would have impeded the speed, you know, which emergency services could have got to them, could have made all the difference.
That is true.
You know, also a perimeter fence there. You know, would it keep the wildlife off the runway? Well, not really the deer. I mean, they'll just jump over it. So I really can't see what value a very expensive fence would have on the east side of the runway. I don't want the FAA to go spending money that it really has, you know, doesn't need to be spent. So, you know, we might think about taking that perimeter fence, taking that money and putting it into the AWAS 3, maybe. So, like I said,
Yeah, we'll have if I just need their direct, you know, if you're in agreement with that.
yeah.
Yeah,
What
I
do you guys
agree.
think?
I don't think a perimeter fence is, you know, if it would keep the deer out, that would be one thing, but I've seen them squeak through a space about this wide and I've seen them jump an 8-foot.
It's not gonna keep the geese off of it.
So, yeah, you're not
You
gonna
need to
keep.
have, you know, a fence high enough to keep the deer out over the, you know, along the thresholds to the runways.
Yeah, otherwise I have landing gear stuck in it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, my landing gear.
Yeah, no. So,
Okay, all right, thanks, Scott. Anything else on item 3?
No,
Okay, item 4. That is the airport's liability insurance.
One more comment about the fence. If you put a fence on the east side, what are you trying to do? Fence out a swamp? What's coming in from there? It's not like we have houses all the way around.
No.
So
yeah, it's just boats occasionally come in.
yeah, but even then, you're still in a swamp out there. You cannot get a boat to where you can get to dry land on that side. It just doesn't work. So it's, you know, we have quite a good natural barrier out there without putting up a chain.
Yeah.
I agree, we should not.
All right, Scott, item number 4 are airport insurance?
Yeah, this is just a simple housekeeping issue. This is something that has to be done. Every year we have to renew our liability insurance for the airport, and I just wanted to inform everyone that that has been taken care of.
I have a question about the insurance.
Hmm.
What's the state law about airport liability? And what are other cities doing about insurance? Are other cities buying insurance? There's a.
Yeah. No, we've had it. I've gone back through the files. We've had it for years.
Yeah, so,
I think that Hoquiam has it as well for the.
yeah, but I know there's a state law, if I have a grass airstrip on my property and somebody lands there and wrecks their airplane, they can't come after me.
I'm doubting this is a state requirement. This might be more of a federal requirement that the FAA requires us to have this.
Again, I don't know if it's,
I could see it be like a subsetting of general city liability for whatever happens kind of thing, or in the city. I could see it being a subset of that.
yeah, but yeah, I mean, it's $1 million, which makes you a target, and the insurance company will roll over and pay it. It's only $1 million. You know, that's my universal experience with insurance and airplanes is that it's expensive and they won't sell you enough. You know,
Yeah,
I would like to have $5 million insurance on my airplane, and all they'll sell me is $1 million. They still charge me almost $7,000 a year for it. So, you know, so it's and
Who do you got it through?
AOPA. I've shopped it. You know, but it's
It's a
again, it's
retrust that they
expensive.
have.
And I have $1 million smooth, which is hard to get, but you know, and I haven't hit the magic number of 70 yet when they
I mean,
really.
AOPA is not an insurance company. I wonder who the underwriters are. Lloyd's,
No. AIG, I think,
AIG.
but
I thought they went bankrupt.
I don't
That was-
know. You know, never had a claim, just keep sending them checks.
Yeah.
insurance generally works, but
Yeah, so, well, you send them checks and then they deny it. That's how it works.
Anyway, so it's done.
it's done. Yes, that's the long and the short of that has been taken care of. Same thing with, well, I'll let you discuss item 5, but go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, item 5.
Yeah, that's the WASDOT disparity study. That's for the Washington State Department of Transportation. And they just have to look at all of our contractors and their roles and make sure that we're being fair in our contracting process. And this is just a legal requirement of all agencies that receive state funding. And that was done by our airport consultants and submitted on time. So
Okay.
they have that.
All right, item 6, host agreement for the ADS-B. Back in October, we got a letter from WSDOT regarding the installation of an ADS-B in receiver to mount on the pilot's lounge. That has been completed.
That has been completed.
It is installed, and that's the new antenna that you see sticking up on the south side of the building. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was there when they installed it and then they did 2 tests for it. And the only thing I needed to confirm is that it's still working properly.
And then the old one is still there doing its thing also, or did they take that away?
I don't know if you removed it or not. I don't think so, though. I think it was simply an installation.
That was a Marine one, wasn't it?
It,
It would.
that one covered aviation.
Uh,
It also covered marine.
yeah,
You could go in and you could go into if you had the magic password, you could go into the website and look at all the ships
both of them.
at sea and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. All right.
Okay, moving on. Item 7, website update. I went into the website this morning. None of the names have been updated. I didn't expect them to be because we haven't approved it in this meeting yet. Just a reminder to whoever it is in the city that keeps it up that that our website has to be changed. Everything else seems to be updated okay. We got the right names in there.
I found a couple errors on it last week that were corrected.
I believe it's already done. It's already been done.
Corrected promptly, so
Okay.
you'd click on Scott's, send him an email and it'd say S. Bisson up there.
Yeah, that was just.
Yeah.
And you still got the email.
Yes, because I still get all of Sarah's emails.
Yeah.
For that exact reason.
Yeah, so
Because
anyways,
whenever they changed it, they just rewrote over instead of going in and actually changing the code.
right. So, and then I found that it still had the pilot controlled lighting at the old frequency.
Yes, and that's,
So we have that updated.
it's one digit different.
9.
Did you know?
Yeah, it used to be 22.8. But,
Yeah, I checked it the other day. It works.
22.8, we're 22.9 and Oakham's 22.7.
Yeah, because we did have a complaint week and a half ago. Pilot came in, he couldn't get the pilot's control lighting to work. I sent a letter to Scott, Scott sent it to me. I talked with you.
I went out and tried it, worked just fine.
I went up and tried it, worked just fine, so.
So,
yeah.
And was that because they're not using the right frequency, or is that because there's something else? What was the reason for not working? Do you know?
I would think they don't know how to, it's 5 clicks, they're.
They don't know.
3 clicks or something.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
it varies by airport.
Yeah,
And some-
You put on the website? How many, the number of clicks?
I think it is on the website. It's certainly on the sign at the end of the runway.
Okay,
It says 5 clicks. So when 22.9, 5 clicks. So, and on the AirNav data, which is linked off the web page, it shows 5 clicks.
Okay.
So, I don't know if the 4th light data was.
It does not say it in the iFly EFB that I have. And I don't think it says it on the website. If it doesn't.
we should add it to the website then.
Easy.
Yeah, the website says the frequency, but I don't think it says 5.
Yeah, it should say the frequency and then in parentheses, it should say 5 clicks.
Okay. All right, yeah, that's a good idea for anyone who's looking it up before they fly in here.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, that was item 7. Item 8 was air mobility charging. Back in February, got Scott, you got a letter from David Ison again at WSDOT. And he was asking about, this looks like boilerplate that he sent out to all the airports, reaching out to gauge the level of interest and activity associated with electric aircraft and other new concepts, such as advanced air mobility across Washington State. And they've got a series of questions here. If any of the following apply, let him know. You have an electric airport vehicle, you're planning on purchasing airport vehicles. Do you currently have an electric charging station for aircraft? All of this, or a little of it, it is moving towards advanced air
This is-
mobility, which are the electrically powered vertical takeoff machines that are now in development. Archer and Joby are the big dogs. I've mentioned this before. And their vehicles are now in FAA certification. They're going through the certification phase for airworthiness certificates. I think that what WSDOT is doing here is asking us, do we want and should we have an electric charging station out here at the edge of the world in preparation for these vehicles? My reply to Scott when this came along was, yes, we should. But there's a caveat on that, in that personally, it's a tough sell to get these vehicles to reach market viability. They're competing against helicopters, they're competing against, and although the population of Ocean Shores has gone up, we're 8,000, plus the whole North Beach. Whether or not it would be worthwhile for any VTOL company to actually come out here and pick up people and take them to SeaTac, which would be at the limit of their range. That's an open question. And we're not going to see it within the next 3 or 4 years. But the question remains, it wouldn't happen anyway if we didn't have a charging station. So step 1 is to put in a charging station. And if the FAA is willing to step up, or WSDOT is willing to step up and plant one out here in the apron, we should be in favor of that. So that was the reply.
So much of it comes questions pop into mind, you know, what kind of charging cord do they use? What kind, you know, all this stuff that,
I would say we shouldn't put the cart before the horse. We should wait until there's some demand for this type of infrastructure let's wait till there's an electric vehicle in the air before we start plugging them in.
Yeah, well.
I don't see where we can spend the money. I'm thinking of when they put railroad tracks in the tunnel. When they built the bus tunnel and they put railroad tracks in it, and then the trains they finally bought were a different gauge. So they just had to rip all that stuff out and start over. So like you said, the charging cord, the power, where's the electricity coming from? How big a cable do we need from the PUD to get to the airport to charge these things in a high-speed charger? There's just so many unknown questions, and technology may never be viable.
I kind of agree with that.
I
It could be outdated by the time.
Yeah.
I think
It
this
gets
is
to be used.
something that would, oh, how about this? I move we table this whole subject until it becomes a viable subject.
Have you replied already, Scott, to?
I think we replied, but I think our conversation was it was premature to move on this.
Yeah, I agree with these guys, you know, regarding spending any city money on this, you know, absolutely not at this point. You know, the technology is still in its infancy, even if they get their airworthiness certificate. You know, like I said, getting market viability and actually getting paid customers, man, that's a huge leap. You know, it's got to be proven out in much bigger metropolitan areas before they come out here.
That's exactly the conversation I remember us having.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, if Archer or Joby wanted to come out on their nickel and install something.
sure.
Yeah, I think that would be different. That'd be a different.
Their
conversation.
nickel being the key phrase.
Yeah,
all
so-
all these electric airplane companies are all venture capitalist stuff, it's rich guys throwing money at something. There was one not long ago that they pulled the plug on it, literally. It's just, yeah, we're done giving you money. Okay, we're done.
Yeah.
So,
No, this is something I've followed in Aviation Week magazine for a few years now. And, you know, I started about 3 years ago. There was a long list of startup companies getting into eVTOL. Now it's down to about 3. I mean, some of the big ones have gone out, like Lilium in Germany. They went belly up. But the ones that remain, these are billion-dollar companies. They got some serious bucks behind them.
What was it? I was reading some places that Archer or Joby, whatever, has money from United.
Yeah, United placed an order for something like 100 of them. Yeah. But, you know, like I said, it would have to be proven in the big metropolitan areas, which is what they plan on doing, long before it comes out here. But, you know, just putting it on the record now that if somebody's willing to come along and spend their money to put a charging station out here, then, yeah. Okay, any other discussion on that? Item 9. Keys.
These locks, you mean?
Yeah.
Padlocks on the gate?
The key to the lounge, the key to the blockhouse, the key to the main gate. I don't have a key.
I will give you mine.
Okay,
I got a whole set.
okay.
That was easy.
I'll figure it out.
What do you need keys for?
Does the city have like a master key list?
I don't know if there's a list of master keys, but we have sets of master keys. I do know, the only reason that I was gonna make a discussion on this item wasn't there an incident that happened a few weeks back where someone had taken the key
Yeah,
from the pilot's lounge, and was that ever returned properly?
yeah, it was about 2 weeks ago. The key just went missing and
Yeah.
nobody knows who took it. Maybe the person who took it didn't even know, put it in a pocket. And then the question came up of, you know, who's got a key? Where's the backup? How do we get one?
So that is, the street department does have that, and I think that I don't know if I was.
I have one. So.
To the pilot's lounge?
Yeah,
Is that the same key as the one to the blockhouse?
no,
Different keys?
yeah.
Okay,
There's 3 keys. Blockhouse, the pilot's lounge, and the gate.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The gate, you just gotta figure out which one of those three
Which padlock the
padlocks.
key works in.
The rusty one.
All right, okay, Stuart, well,
Sarah, that we had from Sarah Bisson's office, we had given to you, Scott.
Yes, and it was a whole ring of keys,
Yeah.
which I was trying every one of these.
Yeah.
And of course, I still to this day do, I
Don't know which
have a
one.
separate one that I know gets me into the pilot's lounge or gets you into the restroom there and then I get into the pilot's lounge, but.
We take when we discover what the key fits, we put a tag on it and take it off the big ring.
Exactly.
And the big ring doesn't seem to be getting any smaller.
No, it never does, no. There are keys on that thing that I have absolutely no idea what they do.
all right, well, thanks, Stuart. I'll
And back on keys too. I really wouldn't mind having one to the blockhouse and build and get the lights changed, that I could go out and do it. But unless I have a key to get in there to get the bulbs, I can't go out there and do it.
It's not a problem. We just have to stop at the hardware store.
We always just, yeah, we always just need to stop at Ace and have them make copies. So
Okay, they're not a priority, do not duplicate.
They don't say anything like, do not duplicate.
No, they don't.
Uh-huh.
If I don't recall them saying.
They probably technically should, but
Yeah.
what the heck?
Okay, anything else on keys?
So many padlocks on the gate. What are all the padlocks on the gate? What's it take to get permission to put a padlock on the gate? We're up to
Let's,
6 or
One's the fire department, one's the city, public works,
they should use
lawnmower
the
guy.
same key.
but that's,
They should use
That's
the
a simple
same.
yeah, let me talk to both Public Works and Fire Department. I thought they were using the same key.
I thought they were.
I think
using the same
they're probably just old locks that are still on there, to be honest.
Well, could be, or, I know that there's, one time the RC Flyers had a separate lock, but I think they've switched to using our lock, but.
Are these locks set up so that every one of them controls access to the airport
Oh, yeah,
individually?
any one lock you unlock, it takes the chain off the gate.
Okay,
But why are there so many locks?
there can be.
I think one guy that flies in with a Bonanza, he got somebody to open the gate for him, then he put his own lock in there. So when he.
That could be true as well.
I'm just gonna say, because there's 2 vehicles of a lot now, and they both are associated with airplanes that come in here occasionally.
So that's probably the most likely reason for it, is that the pilots themselves will put it on.
And I've seen the gates open when they fly in. They fly in, they get the car, they open the gate, go out and come back.
But no one's having a problem opening it, right? So it's not really an issue.
Unless it's a security issue.
Yeah, I don't know, it's.
is there any danger in putting a lock on there that would prevent access to the airport and only that one person has a key? Because if we have an emergency and the fire department needs to come in, they're gonna be smashing the gate down.
Yeah.
That's hard on a truck.
Well,
They got
the
both
locks, the locks we used to use at SeaTac for the emergency vehicles had breakaway locks. They hit them with their axe and they just bust.
Yeah, I don't know what's as far as that.
Well, I think we're making it overly complicated.
I
Yeah,
think, yeah, that's what I would think.
All right,
Off that
Right.
Bonanza guy, the padlock on there so he can get his car out there to unload his stuff. It's,
As long as you be able to open the gate, that's my only concern.
all right.
All right, well, okay, Stuart, you're gonna, I'll get a hold of you, get your keys. All right, item 10, actions. I put this down here as a general catch-all for any actions that we think needs to be done. And a reminder too, I was going through the minutes from our last meetings, and I was surprised at how many poppy bulbs we go through in a year. Bill was saying it was about 12 a year in the precision approach path indicator. So just want to bring that up again, that we go through a lot of them, but apparently Public Works does know how to change those.
Yes, I saw that.
those are not LEDs, really.
No,
They're not.
But I don't think those poppies are ones that we can conveniently switch to LEDs either.
No, because an LED, they need to be a very bright bulb.
Yeah,
So an LED isn't as bright as those bulbs. They're a halogen bulb.
yeah. So. So good.
And we do have an item with the beacon. Came up last week, beacon's not working. Had a discussion with Bill, went out and had a look at it. Public Works had a look at it. Apparently they lowered it down and had a look at the beacon and the rotating mechanism, the gearbox in there, and it was looking pretty wobbly. My suggestion back to Scott was that, yes, the beacon definitely needs to be repaired. And if we need to buy an entire new top to that thing, new motor and transmission, then yes, that's what we should do. That was my advice from this body back to the city. Also, in that letter, I went out there, had a look at the sock, and we have a light on top of the sock with a wire swinging in the wind. So it hasn't worked in a long time. But it looked like a red light. I couldn't tell if the interior of the sock was illuminated. You guys know anything
It used
about
to
that?
be.
It used to be, yeah.
I'd have to look tonight, but yeah, it, in,
It used to
12-month
be.
terms.
When that windsock was put in, yes, it was illuminated. So I'm trying to remember when that stuff was put in.
Well, the new beacon and the windsock was all
Yeah.
at the same time, was
They
it?
were at the same time.
Because you were complaining about having to change the sock on the old one all the time.
So yeah, what my
That still scared me when I did that.
reply to Scott was, yes, we want both of
I had to
these
go home
lights
and lie down
active.
for a while.
So what I didn't know is, were you going to buy them? Have you already bought them, or did you want the city to purchase?
I want the city to take care of that.
Okay, can you send me the exact specs of what it is that you need then?
I don't know. The only way to find out on the big beacon is to lower the beacon.
Somebody had pictures of it, of the
Yeah, yeah.
manufactured tag.
Yeah, the Public Works had already lowered the beacon down.
Okay,
They took pictures.
Yeah,
of
because
it, so they
the
could know.
pole is on a pivot and it's way up there.
Yeah.
all right. Okay, so, you want, so, and what's the second item that you want to have purchased? So the beacon and then the second item?
The second item, which is the windsock.
Mhm.
If you walk out to the pole with the windsock on the end of it, at the top of that pole, there's a light.
Okay,
And then about 2 feet below that, where the windsock mounts, it looks as if there's a board there at the entrance to the windsock that has a lamp on it. And the wire from that is just swinging, like it needs repairing.
okay.
So now I was out there, when did I go back? I went back last Friday and the Public Works guys were out there. Although I'll admit I never saw them, but they had the windsock was unbolted and laying on its side. And one of the RC Flyers guys said that, yeah, they were here and they looked at it and they went off somewhere. So where they went to get a,
Let me talk, I was in Yakima last week, so
Yeah.
let me talk to Alex.
It sounds
Yeah.
like they're getting on it. Good.
whether they were repairing it. And of course, when I came in yesterday, it was back up. So
Okay, so it may be working then? Is that the possibility?
yes, there's a possibility that it's been repaired.
All right, let me talk to Public Works. I'll talk to our street department about that.
And, okay, anything else under actions?
Yeah, we talked about the weeds, they're on here, the goat heads per se, that are, a real nuisance out there. Is anything gonna be done on those?
Heads. It's the eternal problem with the city. We can't get rid of them in our parks.
The only way to get rid of them,
Just to water like crazy.
they don't like water.
it.
Okay, that's it. But you also have to have the grass to choke them out when you water like crazy,
Mhm.
or you dig them.
Yeah,
Because if you try to poison them,
no, it doesn't work.
in their last dying throw, they jettison their spores.
Mhm.
And when it rains in the winter, then those spores germinate and there it goes.
It's a problem for all our
Okay.
parks.
The only way is to dig them. At one point I had it from the tie down area where you come off onto the grass taxiway, past my hangar, all the way around the pilot's lounge, everything. Had them all removed, but I haven't had that much interest in it lately. So as
That's a
far as
big
in
job
front of-
keeping that up.
in-
By the
Oh,
time I
yeah.
get to mine, I mean, there's in the hangar, they're everywhere. Yeah, I just
And
can't get rid of
I
them.
had them growing on the ramp in Renton from coming off my airplane tires. And, yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Oh, yeah, I bet. You know, and
They're
they're,
growing the asphalt.
You
on that
brought, you
ramp.
brought an invasive species to Renton
I
Airport.
did.
are
Not
there.
the first one.
they're a noxious weed and they're supposed to be
Yeah.
controlled.
Yeah, and.
However,
The only way to get rid of them is water 'em.
yeah, I know Bill's got a lot more experience with them than I do. I have very recently gone out there with a garden rake and I pulled them up around mine. And I spray them. If you spray them right now before the seeds come, they'll die.
Mhm.
But
What
if
are you spraying them with?
weed be gone.
Does it have glyphosate in it?
Have what?
Glyphosate in it?
I don't know.
You know, there's another homemade weed killer, vegetation killer, actually, or whatever, weed killer. You make it with vinegar, Epsom salts, and Blue Dawn. And it's really cheap because you just mix,
Mhm.
and it kills. Spray it on them and it kills. That day, I mean, you put them on, you spray it on in the morning, you come back that afternoon and they're brown.
But I would agree with Bill, do it before they go to seed. If they go to seed, it
They
just,
say
it
they
just
use
makes,
anything
it
there's
makes them
spores,
bad.
and next year there's more.
Oh, man, they're horrible.
Nope, they really are.
I've pulled garbage cans full,
Mhm.
30-gallon garbage cans full. You know,
But the city really doesn't have much control over that.
I'll look at it, but we're talking about a really large area, unless you want it like just around the pilot's lounge kind of thing.
Well, like two of the hangars.
The hangars and the pilot's lounge. are-
And I was thinking too, when we had appreciation days last year, where the food trucks were set up,
Mhm.
you know, they were there and that was a real nuisance to
Yeah,
our
well.
customers.
Yeah. Okay, I'll talk to him about it. See what we can-
like I say, my only success has been pulling them. And pulling them and pulling them.
But it is,
Every time I was at the hangar, I'd pull a 5
I know the community club has problems with its parks too, doing it. We do as well. That's just.
Yeah, the parks, it's,
It's an ongoing thing. I mean, anything that goes through your yard spreads seeds when the seeds are around.
Okay, weeds, bulbs, painting, the sock and the beacon seem to be coming along. Anything else?
I'm good.
Okay. Tie down ropes? Bring your own, right?
Well,
Well, there's lots of them.
there's rope in the pilot's lounge. You know, forget who donated that rope. Was it
The Ford Focus
the
Club.
Ford Focus Club? Yeah, we let them use the taxiway for a drag strip one day and they brought us some rope. So,
And somebody.
we didn't put it all out because, you know, it gets ruined in the weather. Well, let's put it out and then we have some spares, so.
Yeah, there's
Wouldn't
a
hurt
lot in there.
It wouldn't hurt to put some more rope out. on there.
And it's all made
Yeah,
up.
we'll do that.
Yeah, we can do that.
We can have a beer afterwards,
There you go.
reward ourselves.
But it's all made, you know, they're all made up into proper.
Gotta figure out what kind of knot you need to tie.
One end's got doesn't one end have a loop in it already that
I
they
don't-
spliced
It
in or
might,
something?
I don't know. If it does, that'd be easy.
On here. Item 11, airport managers report.
Yeah, so I mean, really, the report was covered in items 3, 4, 5, and 6 already. Those are my updates that I gave on, our insurance and our plan. So I don't really have anything except for on 12, the upcoming airport closure. Just make sure everyone's aware on the 17th. We'll be issuing in no time. I don't know if that's already been issued or not. I think it has been, but
I don't know if he ever gave her dates or time frame. She had me email him yesterday. morning.
No airport notams known.
okay, so it has not been issued yet. Okay.
She had me email him yesterday morning asking for time frame.
And who is him?
Joe.
For Joe from Too Cool. Okay,
So
okay.
that they can take their drone and get the aerial photograph.
So just so everyone knows what's happening, the Jeep parade, there's gonna be about almost 1,000 Jeeps, and they are gonna go out to part of the airport and not on the runways, I believe, but just
I have
on the
no idea.
airport. They're just gonna line up, take an aerial photograph.
They're spelling out like clean ocean shores,
Yeah.
believe or something.
Believe, I think, it's just.
Yeah.
Oh, is that it now?
Okay, that's
So
on,
this- And this is what day?
This is gonna be on the 17th,
This is coming,
Saturday, this Saturday.
is there a specific time for that?
They're
No time.
competing with the chili
Specific
cook-off.
time.
You didn't get
It's-
back to me.
Okay, so I know the parade it's after the parade. So the parade starts at 12, so I'm guessing if he hasn't gotten back, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock-ish, somewhere there.
And I don't do anything with the airport.
No, and of course, Sarah is out today, so we will discuss that with her tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, typically no times, they'll shut the airport down for the whole day. They'll say from, it's always given in Zulu time, maybe a 4-hour block.
Yeah,
Okay, so we'll do it like from maybe 1 o'clock to 5 or something like that. That would make sense.
she just wanted to make sure it would be enough time for kids that. Then.
Well, 4 hours, I think that's a safe window. I think.
yeah, that's a
Do you
big
know what
window.
time their parade is when it starts?
I think it starts at 12. I think it starts at noon.
So they're gonna be coming out there well before 1. What I heard is that's gonna be their staging area for their parades.
And we need to confirm that with Joe. We need to confirm that. All right.
What's your meeting date? In light of the fact that we have Airport Appreciation Days coming up quickly, we should probably have, I would think, at least 3 or 4 meetings between now and then. A lot of the preliminary work is already done from Appreciation Days. We've got files, we've got lists, we've got action item lists, we've got a ton of stuff from last year. So we're not reinventing the wheel here. But even so, I think, should have 3, maybe 4 meetings. What do you guys think?
I think probably 3 meetings would be
I think
good.
three would be-
Well, one thing that I learned is that if we're gonna invite the Coast Guard or any military installation to come over here, you gotta do it early. There's so many people involved. One guy at the front desk, oh yeah, that's great, we'll be there. Then he takes his CO, his COs, takes another CO, it's a big time, complicated process to go through, and it just can't happen in a few weeks.
The guy you really need to find is the guy that's training that day that kind of has a go out and fly. And you gotta get him to just fly over.
Yeah.
You know?
Figured out last year, the guard, for instance, it was too late to get into their schedule anyway, but B, they don't have any scheduled training in August.
Yeah.
That's their general rule. So,
Yeah,
and it's not like back when I joined the Guard and all the pilots had keys to the flight operation. Fingers. We could just show up on the weekend and nobody was there. We had, okay, we had a key, we'd
were you
pull the
helping?
helicopter out and go fly.
You help unload the boat there off the abyss?
That was the 92nd Army Reserve up at Plain Field.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Heavy smokers.
when's our next meeting date? How about, this is middle of May. How about, really to get the ball rolling quickly on this, how about first week of June? That'll be about 3 weeks out.
Works for me.
Okay, that works. My schedule should be good.
Yeah, works for me.
Today. Tuesday the 3rd at 10:30.
Tuesday at 10:30, Tuesday the 3rd.
That was easy.
Well, ask Keitha.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let me.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Right, exactly. Okay, let's.
Who's gonna set that up?
Want me to go ask her right now?
Yeah. Well, we have an online calendar too that we can book the room for.
Yeah, but she's got a big one.
Okay.
June 3rd, 10:30?
Yep.
So Stuart comes back.
I got up one clam digging today. I'm tired.
Two-legged, I went,
Yeah.
I nailed them, 20 minutes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
When you flying back?
tomorrow. Early afternoon. I have to be at the dentist on Thursday.
Oh, lucky you. I don't like tennis.
I just had to go yesterday. It was great fun. It's been about 3 hours there.
I've got really sensitive roots, I guess. They give me all the Novocaine. I'll jump in the chair and they go, "Oh, we knotted up. Does that hurt?" I says, "I think it hurts. I'm sweating. I'm jumping out of the chair. Yeah, it hurts."
I don't let her supersize my repair order very often.
Yeah, I got a
We
crack
should replace
cracked
these.
tooth back here,
Should
man.
replace
It's
these
it's
crowns.
coming up.
Oh, yeah, every 6
You
years
know.
or something.
I said, why? They don't bother me.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, what if you're on
When,
vacation, Nicole,
breaks, I said,
when
super glue it back on.
Stuart's
And
resignation goes
then I'll
in,
come and see you.
you guys cast out a net to, get another volunteer for the committee?
They announced it at the
City council.
city council meeting.
Yeah,
I think it's posted on the website.
We are booked.
We are, okay.
good, okay.
You know, think ahead and set up these other meetings you're talking about. Her calendar's pretty full.
What's the
Yeah.
next date?
Let me take,
We got it from 10:30 to 12:30 on June 3rd.
June 3rd.
Okay, good. So there'll be only one single item on that agenda, and that will be Appreciation Days preparation.
yeah.
Unless Scott has other things to add by then.
Bring your ID.
I may, but
I'll try and dredge up all the stuff that we had from,
I can look at the past agendas too. We have all that stuff.
yeah, okay.
Special meetings.
Yeah, that was part of it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there was the map,
Yeah,
with all the different areas marked on the map, so yeah, we can use that as a go by, maybe just.
and your old flyer.
I had
Flyer.
one
I
suggestion.
have all of that. Faxes, all that.
I had one suggestion from a pilot that flew in and he said that when they parked the food trucks, they parked them in front of the camera, so that the camera was blocked from
Oh,
looking
no.
across the bay to give them this weather update.
Okay,
So,
all right, well, that was the last item on the agenda.
motion to adjourn?
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, I could look
Oh,
here.
it's already been on.
All right.
All right, so who gets my minutes, what I, or email them to?
you